Warrior, sex is not work. Work is not sex. I commend all of you to understand what I'm talking about. The best way you can do that is just by listening to me right now. We want to thank Pamela Paul, who wrote a New York Times opinion piece that was published just today. In it, Pamela Paul describes the two words that are used constantly in society, in the media, in entertainment, our government officials. Everybody says sex worker, sex worker, sex worker. Why, just last week here in New York, our coalition, New Yorkers for the Equality Model, along with many other organizations, nonprofits, came together for a press conference. We are pushing back against this full decriminalization of the sex trade. In order to understand all of that, we have to understand the history of where did this sex worker euphemism, where did it come from? Why is everybody using it? I commend you. Please go to my Twitter at Lynn's Warriors and read the article published today in the New York Times. Prostitution is oppression. It's not the oldest profession. It's the oldest oppression. And you know why I know this? Because I work with or work alongside with people who have been prostituted. They will tell you, listen to the survivors, let them tell you what they've been through and how they were coerced, forced to engage in this oppression. There is nothing empowering about being a prostitute. I don't want to hear the argument in exchange of money. The violence and harm caused in the sex trade is beyond anything I hope none of you ever have to imagine. And that is why I always say, listen to survivors, support survivors, because they will tell you the truth. This term sex worker, it used to be hookers, whores, and all of a sudden it became sex worker.
You will. I'll be after you, Tim. You know that. Thanks, Tim. We'll talk again.
Now that encourages one, because that is the game plan, to enter into this sex trade that I will remind you is harmful and oppressing. Every chance I get to say that, I will tell you. Why would you want your child to grow up and be a sex worker? You wouldn't. We have to change this. And we are changing it. And the first step is to wake up today and see an opinion piece in the New York Times. And I'm not getting political here. I will take any good news from any place, something that educates the public. I'll take it from anywhere, left, right, down the middle. I don't care. And this was a wonderful piece by Pamela Paul. Again, please go to my Twitter, read the piece, understand it's not okay. This habituation of normalizing the sex trade is directed at our children. They want to destabilize. This is what they want. They for our precious kids, and we are not going to allow it. So hats off to Pamela Paul for writing this piece, and for also, I have to say it, the New York Times for publishing it. It is a warrior move. And also an update on the app Saturn that I talked about here in a video a couple of days ago. Because of the tremendous push in our coalition work, the founders of the app Saturn are making wonderful changes as I speak to you. They are verifying. Let me refresh your memory. Most high schools have adapted this Saturn app. A couple of years ago, kids thought it would be cool. We'll put all of our school schedules onto this app, and schools were utilizing it. So it wasn't just the kids were signing up through the schools. Well, fast forward, the predators were also signing up because there's no real age verification or checking on the school verification either. You just sign up. And we tested it, many of us. We signed in fictitious names, fictitious schools, a name of a real school, and we were allowed right in. And we had access to hundreds of kids' schedules. And we know they're in high school. We had everything. Kids thought it was cool because they could connect this way. To me, this is just another form. They called it a scheduling app, but let's face it, warriors, another social media app. That's what I think, and others I work with. So we got busy. And this is when I tell you community creates change. There's power in numbers. It works. And Saturn was contacted immediately. Luckily, part of our coalition, we have some pretty heavy hitters that know a lot about tech and policy and opened up the doors. They've been going through the emails at Saturn. They've been testing. They've been kicking out who's not a legitimate student. It was the most frightening thing to test it, put in a fake name of a real school, and to be given access. Now, you might say, as I did, when they developed this app a couple of years ago, why didn't they put this safety net in place then? I don't know. I'm not even going there. We've called them out. They're one of the few companies stepping up, taking immediate action. Remains to be seen. But as we're speaking again, they're working on it, weeding out the fake verification. There's thousands of students on this, so it'll take them a bit of time, but they're moving ahead, all right, and we have got our eyes on them. So the Saturn app for today gets a Warrior Gold Star, but it remains to be seen. We've had other instances where it's an Apple iPhone, where they're making changes, Instagram making changes, and they do, but the changes are never good enough, big enough. Remember, the predators are always 10 steps ahead of all of us. But you know what? I am seeing the pendulum begin to swing, and it starts with you. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for donating. Thank you for the offers of volunteerism as we enter the fall season, and we have a lot of Warriors events planned coming up. Thank you for just retweeting or sharing a Facebook post, a like on Instagram. Because and I know this subject matter of human slavery, child exploitation, isn't a welcome one. And I don't have to go into detail about it. But I will be doing a video tomorrow. Because as I've always mentioned, I do these videos very late at night. The days just get away from me, too much going on. And I do have something I do want to discuss in the next video that occurred yesterday. Child sexual exploitation and trafficking is happening in every town, city, and rural area in America. We have to face it. We have to know the realities, because we don't want your child or grandchild to be next. So thank you all for tuning in. Let's keep going. Let's keep building. We're back to school time. We've got to empower the kids, engage the kids, educate them that we're here for them at all times. Remember, once again, community creates change. Lynn'sWarriors.org is the place to be. Each and every day, be a warrior.